Hey all, double 1/8 Shadow here. So let's get started with today's market watch. We have a decent amount to cover this time. First item for today is going to be for the dimensional robo support. I was talking about the recent increase in super dimensional robo die lady some time back, and revisiting it, that increase is sticking pretty well here. The market price on the triple rare is currently around $13, while the base price right now is $17 with 9 listings. If you want the silver rare, that's got a base price of $30 with 5 listings right now, and a market price that's around the point of the triple rare. It's just around 13. And if you still need to pick up the double frame rare, that one's got a market price of about $58, but its lowest listing is currently lower at about $53. So I imagine that Daikaiser will see some general play, at least for the start of the BCS circuit, and we'll see where it moves from there. But for Die Lady to still have this much value means that there is still some decent popularity for the deck. One to watch for later is Watch Your Step Murla. So this card is a Festival Booster 2025 exclusive print, and it's really cheap right now with 38 listings as low as 8 cents. And there are tons of them to pick up that are really easy to grab. 25 cents is pretty solid or lower. But the reason I call out this one is that this one does have some potential upside depending on what we get for the new Christmas-based Lyrical Monasterio set that's coming this November in Japan. And then we will be getting it in January. But this card was mainly built, from the looks of it, for Charmant. And there are some other decks that it can play with. It's incredibly generic to use, but a lot of its skills are very supportive of using Charmant. So I do want to call that out, considering that Charmant is specifically getting new support in the next lyrical set. Sword of the Nation, Bastion Accord. After seeing Nirvana Jiva make a return in the anime and getting its own specific support outside of it with Virina and some other cards, I was interested to I was just wondering to myself, what other grade 3s could potentially come back from old sets rather than getting a brand new replacement? Well, I mean, it's a very hard call because it's very rare for Bushiroad to even do something like this. They always end up making a new grade 3, but then they didn't do it for Nirvana. And then for some of the main characters from the original Overdress arc, I was thinking maybe there's a possibility that even these might make returns. Bastion Accord primarily because its skill is already pretty solid, and also because we just did not see that much use of it in the anime either. Currently it's around $14, this is from set 12 and has 11 listings on the market. This one always maintains its popularity despite the fact that you don't tend to see Bastion get played that much. Right now, $14 at the lowest, goes up to $18 and even $20 when it comes to the front page, and the market price has been on an increase. Then for Diablos, you have Viamont's Bruce, which comes from set 9 and currently has a low price of about $7. 15 listings on the market for this triple rare. The market price has been rebounding since the end of August, even with a smaller amount of sales. Right now, we've been seeing more sales that have been going for $8 to $10. And as for its current availability, we have a number of $7 ones, and it's more heavily consolidated around $9 right now. What do you guys think? Do you think Bruce and Bastion will, if they make a return in the anime, will they just use these versions, or will they actually get new versions? Or do you think any other grade 3s have the potential to be reused like Nirvana Jiva was? Let me know down in the comments. I'm interested to hear thoughts. There was also an update to the restriction list for Japan, including yet another restriction to Basagra in Trick Moon. Trick Moon is now limited to 1 per deck, but again, that's only in Japan right now. For the current BCS circuit in the international market, Trick Moon doesn't have this limitation yet, and these other limitations are not here yet either. One of the upcoming unrestricted cards is Knight of Formosity Charmnet, which is a Levy Dress support card from DivineZ 5. The card is currently still really cheap to pick up. In fact, the Framer has the lowest base listing available right now at about 95 cents. But it also has a mid-tier market price among the three, around $2. The double rare is currently $1.50 at its lowest, but a market price almost at $2, while the silver rare is almost $2.50 with a market price that's closer to $3. Whether or not this card is actually going to see any sort of surge or spark again now that it's been unrestricted is yet to be seen. But I can definitely tell you that even with that kind of information, it has not done any wonders for Levy Dress at all. Imperio is currently sitting at around $5.50 for its lowest and 13 listings on the market right now, and the market price has really sunk since the end of August. Now at around $5.50, and sales that have mostly been moving as low as about $3.60. More recently, it's been moving again at around $7, and the consolidation of the card is closer to $6.50 right now. So we'll have to see where it goes from here. I'm pretty sure it'll end up getting some new support as we go down the line. So we'll just have to see. Another card that also got an unrestriction is in Scarlet Flame Martial Dragon Gandiva. So one of its big support cards that originally also came from set 10 has been completely unrestricted, where originally it was only able to be played at 2 because it got at least one additional unrestriction. And now in Japan, you have full reign to play this deck at full power again. Although, even with that said, the news hasn't really done much wonders for Gandiva in the international market. $5 right now for the triple rare. This is from set 10. The market price is currently around $3.50. The double frame rare is around $42. And there's also the mask version that comes from DivineZ 6, where it's less than $1 to pick up for the triple rare. The silver rare is $3 at the lowest. And then the FFR is currently around $16, so incredibly cheap. Speaking of high rarity cheap cards, Karmic Demonic Jewel Dragon Rejeweled Mask is one of the cheapest secret rares on the market. 5 listings right now, with the lowest listing being $32 for the secret rare again. This is not the double frame rare, this is the secret rare in a range of just $30. The last sale on this card was today at $35, and we have been seeing sales of this card all the way back through July that have all been in the $30 to mid $40 range. This card has basically just been abandoned by most of the player base and is just not going anywhere, so I guess it's really just there for picking up for sitting in a collector's binder at this point. Sylvan Hornbeast Alpin, which is still an exclusive to set 7, has been dropping off in price despite its exclusivity and strength with Magnolia. 17 listings on the market right now with a base price of about $8. And as for what it's been selling for, we've been seeing this card move downward since August, where we did see this still move in the $20 range. But since the beginning of September, we've been seeing sales of this card in the low 10s. 14, and then it eventually just got a sale a few days ago, a full play set for about $9 a piece. The availability of the card, we have a good amount of $8 listings that are on the market, and then they move back up to 9s. So, for a card that used to be $20 and is still very short in print overall, this card is just a whole lot easier to get now, if you still need it. Dreamy Cafe Reptless, which is a world origin from the English version of the Lyrical Monasterio Trick or Trick series. This card, last time I talked about it, was in the double digits for what it was worth, but still only about $15 tops, maybe 20 if you were lucky. But it's been going back down in price. This is just a regular perfect guard, or I should say just the standard perfect guard that you tend to play. 15 listings on the market with a base of around 550. The market price is still showing an increase based on the data, but that's interesting to see considering that over the course of July, we've seen this card move a whole lot more around $13, and more recently from August to September, this card has been dropping off and only selling for around $8 to $9, and now even $6. So I'm starting to guess that this graph data is kind of outdated. In any case, the availability, we have a good amount of them around $6 and $7, so it's much easier to pick up than it was back during the summertime. Clear Shimmer Aura, which was originally from Lyrical Set 3. This card has 2 reprints in the first Divine Lyrical Monasterio set, as well as Festival Booster 2023. All 3 versions are $2 to $3, and it's only Festival 2023's version that has less than 10 listings on the market. The others have double digits in terms of listings. Then you have the Frame Rare, which is the high rarity of this card, and that is exclusive to Set 3 for Lyrical. There are 5 listings for that one at a price of about $18 and a market price closer to $19. Keep in mind that for order support based cards, Aura is one of the few cards that can actually pick up Regulus pieces. A lot of more recent cards that can manipulate the use of orders typically cannot do them with Regulus pieces, but Aura is an exception. So just keep that in mind if you do intend to consider it for something. Rhythm of Joy Elentis. This card is a Leonorn support card, which did get reprinted as part of the Master deck set for Urara, but it also has a frame rare that comes from set 13, which has been out of stock for a little while. So the last time this card sold was early in September for $7, and for the most part, this card has mostly been selling around the $5 mark, and as high as $9, but that was at the end of August. So if you were looking to bling out Leonorn, which will be getting more support in Divine Set 11, you're going to have to look around for this one because it's not on TCG Player anymore. Demonic Stone Dragon Lithsagor, which is for Drajewald and is from Divine Set 8. The card has significantly dropped off from some time ago, where even the silver rare, which has a market price of about $20, now has a base listing of about $11, and the triple rare has dropped off as well and is now around $8 with a market price only slightly higher than that. If you want to grab the double frame rare, it's $42 right now at the base with a market price of around $70. Bushiroad did announce a newer Drajewald support card that's very similar to this card, as well as Rockagore, but it's a grade 3. So I honestly feel like Lithsagor is still your best bet in terms of a restanding rearguard for Drajewald, that it'll use a counterblast, but then again, so does Rockagore, and also this new grade 3 also still needs a counterblast in order to restand, so I still think this one does it the best. Elementaria Sanctitude. Between its 2 versions, and considering I haven't looked at this in a while, let's see where it's sitting now that we have so many prints of the original. Not that we didn't already have so many prints, but we have way more now. Overall, the original Elementaria Sanctitude has a range of about 14, well, closer to 15 to about $19 amongst almost all the prints that can be considered base prints. And that's a lot of them. This card's latest print set was the Master Deck set for Urara, whereas the Master Deck set for Michiru had the other Elementaria Sanctitude that works with the opponent having non-energy generator crests. And those variants, there are only 2 versions of it. The one from that Master Deck set and the original printing from Festival Booster 2024. And both of them are still under $10, but they also both have less than 10 listings apiece. All versions of Elementaria Sanctitude, there's a variety in terms of how many listings there are. What I I think it's the original of the promos, number 124, has the most amount of listings at around 1430 and 29 listings there. But almost all the other listings of this card are single digit listings, except for the Revenger one, which has 12 listings, but that's not saying too much more. The full art version that you got from a promo pack for tournaments ages ago, that one is $36 right now. The market price is about in line. And of course, there's the World Finals version from 2022, which was given as an entry promo if you participated during that World Final. That is currently at one listing for $1,000, but a market price of around $640. So Sanctitude overall hasn't really changed, whether it's the original or the newer version. And given that this card is still played in basically every deck, with very few exceptions, and that includes for premium format tournaments as well, it's still up there in price, and it's still, despite how many printings it gets, it would have to get a huge heaping of printings in order for it to really, really go down in value underneath the tens. And that's it for today. Thank you guys for watching. If you liked the video, please like and subscribe if you haven't already, and I will see you guys later.